Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Rangers, and I'm here to talk about Game 34 of the regular season, where the Rangers lose 3-2 to the Pittsburgh Penguins, and all good things eventually end. Sequencing is so very important, and a game like this shows you exactly why, because had this game happened a couple of weeks ago, the entire fan base would be melting down, but because it came on the other end of the 7-game win streak, you just kind of go, meh, well, win streaks end, games like this happen, and that's exactly my take on this. These games happen. You play 82 games a season, and so yeah, sometimes you have games that are just ho-hummers. This was kind of one of those. The Rangers didn't do anything in this game that was so egregious that I'm like, wow, that's horrible, you deserve to lose this game. On that note, they also were consistently the second best team on the ice, and I don't think that's a harsh thing to say. I think that's the absolute truth. The Rangers were mid throughout this game, and I mean, it happens. It happens. Within the first 30 seconds, the Rangers already have a nice save from Igor Shesterkin and a goal, just taking it from the beautiful save from Igor, moving it up ice. Kreider takes a shot on net, trying to just center one it looked like for Trocheck, and instead of that, it just bounces into the net. It might have deflected off of a Penguin, but Kreider's got his 15th of the year, and the Rangers have a 1-0 lead in this game. And that was it for a long while. The Rangers would have some nice chances. They'd hit the crossbar a couple of times. But if you take the crossbar chances away, we didn't look particularly great offensively. We'd have some looks, solid puck movement, but nothing really of consequence. Later on in the second period, the Penguins would get something of consequence while on a power play. Sidney Crosby has a play in the neutral zone, brings it back in, gives it to Evgeny Malkin, and he rears up to take a shot. And then Jacob Trouba, who is kind of coming out from Igor's right, has two choices in this situation. And so many times, defensemen have two choices in a situation like this, which is that you, A, charge the player and try to make a deflection that way, or B, and the one that defensemen do too often, is that they try to become like a second goaltender in front of the first goaltender, which is very sweet. You're trying, and we appreciate that your heart's in the right place. That being said, when a defenseman does this, it's kind of like when a toddler tries to help you with the dishes, which it's like, oh, it's cute, he's trying to help, but then you see that the toddler is holding a very, very delicate glass in one hand and a knife in the other, and you're like, oh, this isn't cute anymore. Trouba's just sadly sort of a screen on this play, and the puck ends up in the back of the net. And then later on in the same period, Penguins on another power play, shot from Joseph at the point. Brian Rust with a absolutely perfect tip in. He was unguarded. Just kind of comes flying out in front at the perfect, and I mean perfect time for the tip. There is absolutely nothing that Igor Shesterkin can do here. And it's a goal that you just kind of throw your hands up at. This wasn't on Shesterkin. This was just, it's a power play, and that was damn near perfect from Brian Rust. And then the third goal for the Penguins, you're almost halfway through the third period. Raquel has it on a zone exit. Nice pass to Jake Gensel, and he carries in. Centering pass on a bit of a 2-on-1 for Sidney Crosby. It's not the most space, but it's all the space that Sidney Crosby would need. It's a bit of an 5-hole goal. You'd like Shesterkin to have that if he just had the stick on the ice, but that's Sidney Crosby and Jake Gensel on a bit of a 2-on-1, and then Sidney Crosby on a little bit of a breakaway. I'm not going to be too harsh with you. But again, the Rangers weren't terrible in this game by any means. They still had chances, and this was a nice play. Johnny Brodzinski out of our defensive zone, gives it to Trocheck in the neutral zone, and he eats Pierre-Olivier Joseph alive on this play on the zone entry. Like, oh my God, Vincent Trocheck, that was ridiculous. He gets a 2-on-1 with Kreider. Beautiful feed to Kreider, and a beautiful shot from Kreider. Just a little flick, and it's in, and the Rangers make it a 1-goal game. It was really tight. And the last 5 minutes, the Rangers pressured pretty consistently. They were in the zone, it felt like, the entire time. And you kind of got to talk about it because it was important, because it was a tight game. The Rangers, again, were really heating up here in the last little bit. And Mika with a really, really bad trip. Mika Zibanejad got tripped really hard. That was egregious. And right in front of Wes McCauley. And no call. And I don't love blaming refs, but by God, there has got to be a call there. I'm not blaming this solely on officiating. The Rangers having a goal anytime between the first minute and the 50th minute would have been really handy. But man, they were really turning it on in the last few minutes, and the power play there We obviously will never know for sure, but I feel like it's really likely they probably tie it. But they don't. They don't get the call. It happens. The Rangers end up losing. So the overview of the game is just a meh. Like, I'm not mad. I'm not angry. It's not like this was wrong and that was wrong. And grr, I'm shaking my fist at this darned team. Rain, hellfire, and brimstone down upon them. They deserve to be yelled at. It was just a mid. It was mid. The entirety of it. The defense wasn't terrible. It wasn't incredible. It was there. The first and second line were all right. They had some looks. Third line looked great, which is awesome. I've complained about that line a little bit the past week or two, but they have really started to build some great chemistry. Trocheck and Kreider look like they pair really, really well together, so love seeing that continue to blossom. Igor made some really beautiful saves, and I think the only goal I really give him that much grief upon would be the third one. The first two were just screened by your own player, unstoppable tip. The Crosby one, again, I have my piece. I would have liked to save there, but it happens. He wasn't bad. The entirety of the team, for the overall performance of this game, I would just be like, you weren't bad. You weren't good, but you weren't bad. So the Rangers end the 2-game miniature road trip. They head back to MSG on Thursday night to face the good old Islanders on the final game before Christmas break. It's at 7 o'clock, and I'll be here afterwards to talk about it, but that is all I would say for the evening. So, if you enjoyed the video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Rangers.